Welcome to our little video about Presto. Now, Presto is comes from the Latin word presto, which means quick or quickly, and that's really what this whole thing is about. Presto integrates into our platform to help teachers build engaging, fast and engaging micro lessons, micro courses. It really was built from the beginning to help teachers remediate gaps in student learning in a very personalized way. And we're working with teachers and working with the momentum that teachers have to try and maintain in a classroom. It's been built out to be really a very comprehensive course and assessment creation platform. So I'm going to take you through something I just made really, really quickly, and then we'll take you back and step you through how it happened, because it happens so fast. It happens, as we say, presto. So the whole idea with Presto is to cut down the creation time of lesson building. McKinsey research says that 30% of teacher time is spent in teacher preparation. I know teachers that spend hours in PowerPoint and Google Sheets and Google Docs trying to make their lesson engaging, trying to get some different modalities happening, trying to really address the problem they're trying to fix. It takes a lot of time. You've not only got to find the content, you've got to create the experience, which sometimes, sort of falls a bit short. Like PowerPoint doesn't do multiple choice questions, doesn't do open-ended questions, it doesn't auto-mark questions, it doesn't do scripted speaking, it doesn't do comprehension. PowerPoint is great for presenting. What Presto is all about is engaging. So there's a big difference in the modalities that we're talking about here. So I did a history course, and I wanted to introduce Genghis Khan. I wanted the students to read something about Genghis, understand where he was coming from, and start thinking about how they could write an essay, a very quick little over the, right across the top of where Genghis was coming from, and where he ended up in his life. It didn't take me more than maybe 20 seconds to get this done, and I could obviously extend it past where I got to. But the modality is the most important thing. Okay, I'm not going to go through each of these cards individually. We'll come back around. But as you can see, this is completely optimized for phone and for tablet. Of course, it's working on a PC here. But when you see this working on a phone, and students working really quickly with something that you created really quickly, and everyone's engaged, be it on a phone or a tablet, this is where the power of Presto comes into play. Now, you're always in charge of the content. The content can be about anything. It could be about frogs. It could be about history, economics, honestly, anything at all. And building these things out, building these Prestos out is really, really simple and fully in control of the teacher. Okay, so we don't take any human out of the loop here. What we're doing is augmenting that idea that you have, that modality that you're looking for, really quickly into your class and in a very maintainable way where students can interact and learn something from it. So Presto is really about building out your courseware, your modalities, your sort of vision of what you're trying to do in a really quick way. Now, let me show you how this works. So down here, we've got our AI Scribot. Now, we've got some choices here that you can very quickly activate. Now, there's no limitation to what other things you can do. But really, if we were looking for an instant quiz on any topic, what we do is we take you through some prompts as to how you might frame this in your context. So obviously, I haven't got the text yet, so I'll generate some text. So I'll say the topic of the quiz might be the role frogs play in the delicate ecosystem of a creek. Now, I'll just change that to role, okay? We won't go for royal frogs just yet. So if that's the biology sort of concept we want to get going and talking about in the classroom, I'm underway, okay? Now, I want it to be 400 words because my kids are in sort of year 10. They're not juniors, so we want to give some substance to what the topic is all about. Now, we're running this live, okay? We're not doing it, there's no editing here. So what title should I give it? We'll say Frogs in the Ecosystem. Now, as you can see, I'm talking to it, which makes it even quicker than typing. We're in grade 10, so we want it to be, just the right level for grade 10. We'd like to have maybe 4 questions, and we'd like to have those modalities around multiple choice and short answer. We don't want to make it too simple. We'd like them to, to write, to actually think about the frogs and the ecosystem. So off I go. That's all I need to supply in terms of a prompt. Presto is now building this course and we're done. Okay, it saves it. You're ready to go. Now, when I say ready to go, let's have a look. We've got an ecosystem underwater. Now we can change all of this, right? But it's built this by default automatically for you. So here is the topic. Okay, 4 paragraphs, exactly what I wanted. Here are the questions. Now, straight away, I've got everyone in the class right now, potentially, into a Google Classroom with this thing here, this little Presto, this little course, this little induction into frogs in the ecosystem, and it's ready to roll straight away. I can assign that out to a class. I can assign it to anonymous. Anonymous means you don't have to have any logins whatsoever. So if I just assign this to a web classroom, now if you take a picture of that from the video, you will get frogs in the ecosystem on your phone, your tablet, or your PC. Okay, so this is the speed that I'm talking about. Now, that might just be enough for you to cross that hurdle in biology about introducing frogs in an ecosystem. I think when you do it this way, you get the attention and the engagement pretty much straight away. So it's not about you spending hours trying to find this content and pasting it into something that you're going to present. This is about using the system to create something that's going to engage your students immediately. And that's what Presto is all about. And as you can see, we go out to all of these things. So if you want to post that to Classroom, it's one more click. Okay. If you want to go out to Teams, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, you can use WhatsApp as the LMS. It doesn't matter, or you link it into your LMS. Those sort of things are just simple for us. Okay. They're simple for you. This is all about the teachers and you. So now I've got my my frogs in the ecosystem. Now I might just want to put some more stuff into it. Okay, so you're in full edit mode here. So we can change the picture, we can change the background, we can change the color of these. Sometimes dyslexic students like to have a blue background. Look, there's no limit to what you can do. The point is you can do it really quickly. Okay, so if you wanted to change all the question cards into a certain color, you can build that kind of tempo and momentum in your presentation just in a click. If you wanted to add in a video on frogs, we link into YouTube for Education. So we've got full access to all the YouTube information. YouTube for Education. You can cruise it, you can see it, you can look at it. You can add videos in a heartbeat. That's now in the cards. And if you want to preview it, there it is there. So your students are not only like dealing with your little text that you have, they can also be talking about or looking into a video that you supply for them. So these are what we call modalities, and you can add and change them anytime you like. Now, text, image, video, audio is just part of what it does. When you get into assessment mode, you've obviously got multiple choice, yes, no. I won't bother reading them all out there, but we include the concepts of reading, speaking, listening. Okay, so you can have an audio off which comprehension questions are based. You can have students scripted speaking. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. That's really powerful. So what you do is you grab something that you want them to say. Now, this might be a blended modality where you're working with comprehension. You're also working with potentially getting them to pronounce words better. So let's get to the point where you want to inject your speaking card. We'll have scripted speaking. We'll put this in here, and what we're expecting the students to do is to recount that. Okay, so I'll do that in a very fractured way, and we'll see what happens. Frogs are an essential part of a creek. Now, obviously, I missed a few words there. Okay, this is where it knows I've missed it. My pronunciation was pretty good, but I missed some words. Okay, I mispronounced a couple. I missed a few here. I could have done better on my pronunciation. My grammar was okay. My vocabulary in that sentence is pretty simple, but overall I'm scoring B2. So I'm a natural English speaker. For other people who don't have that skill, you get a different result. But you can put anything in here and have students practice, practice, practice. And that's the only way to get better. Now, as a teacher, you don't need to sit beside them and grade them. you need to see what's going on, and that's where the results come through. We'll show you that a bit later. Okay. So now I've got my scripted speaking card in the middle of a multiple choice environment on a topic about frogs with a video. What else would I like to do? I might want to put a different background on. Okay. So building out your Presto is really about speed. It's about using the modalities that we've got in here to build out the kind of like engagement that you're looking for. Now, you can do that in a couple of ways. You can jumpstart using, obviously, the AI support engine that sits below here, or we can create them ourselves. But either way, what you're building is a very engaging experience for your kids, and you're building it into a library, okay, which is most important. This goes into a library that you can sort of create with your peer teachers. So you could share that out to your school library, which means everyone's now got access to this. Now, you'd be amazed the amount of work that teachers do individually. Now, if you could collect that energy and put it into a framework that was consistent, had all the rigor of presentation, the standards applied to it, the modalities that go across tablets and phones, like all that's done, and integrates with Google Classroom, Teams, whatever you have in the room. If you can take all of that pain away and put it into a school library, you can then build out these libraries that can be shared across the schools and across indeed public environments. If you wanted to put out your own public content around your topics and your ideas, it's super easy to do that as well. So along here, you get a whole bunch of activity libraries. Now, we've actually got 640 English language lessons all across, every part of grammar that you can inject into the mix of what you're doing in an English class really, really quickly. They're all auto marking. They're all from very high quality textbook publisher partners that we have, and they're designed to sort of augment what you're doing. So if you're writing and you're sort of like seeing that there's a problem with adjectives or adverbs, you can really fill that gap and remediate that gap quickly using the library inside Presto. So you could create something yourself, or of course you could just go to the library and, what I say is, why buy a book when there's a library in town? So Presto really does hit the spot in so many different ways. And it's not just about multiple choice or anything like that. It can be about writing. So Scrivo is obviously the writing platform, but look at this little example here, the cookie thief, where we start to set students up for writing success. If you wanted them to write about a picture and you simply give them a blank sheet of paper, sometimes you've got to be careful what you wish for. You're going to get something that is not particularly engaging, and it's just something that they're going to do and pass back to you. Whereas this, we can paint a story, picture, text, little bits of text. It makes them turn the page. This is about someone at the airport who ate someone else's cookies, and so the story goes. But we get to the point where we want them to just in 50 words write a couple of sentences about the experience, what the comprehension that they've sort of built up. They now have to free response about the cookie thief. What happened in this story? What happened next? Now, I just pasted something crazy in here, but the whole point of doing this is to show you that even from within the card system, the sort of presentation layer, students are still getting great feedback. Like, you missed the whole point here. It's about cookies, friendly, happy. In terms of spelling, and you could improve this text by trying to stay on topic, it doesn't align with the given instructions. So we're talking about cookies here. Can you go back and do it again? This is the sort of feedback that you can get to students really, really quickly, and you're watching the whole time. You don't have to be injected into it with a red pen. So this is what's really important about Presto, is the speed at which you can move across the ground to reach the students at the point they're at, with some really engaging content. So before I sign off on this video, I just want you to see that we can do comprehension, we can do writing tasks. So you can build out a whole, why don't we do one? It won't take us that long. So let's do a writing prompt about the life and times of John F. Kennedy. Okay, so this is a history. We'll call it John F. Kennedy. Okay, we want to do 400 words. We want them to write 400 words. These guys, we want say 3 paragraphs. They're only in year 7, these guys, so we want to keep it a bit sort of like free flowing, nothing too heavy. what we want to do is get them writing. Okay, that's the mission here. Now, the genre that we want this to be informative. We cover a lot of genres, and we want them to not only start to use Presto, but we want them to have an interactive scaffold to guide them through the writing event. So we don't just leave them alone here. We want to tell them about JFK. We want to build out a recipe for success. So how does an essay come together about John F. Kennedy? So here we go. Here's a picture of the man himself. And we build out the topic for you, and we build out how the students could go about thinking about, writing about JFK. Okay, so obviously this is up to you to have a look at. You can have a look at this and say, okay, we've got the right picture. It's a good topic. They're the keywords we want them to meet and deal with. Here are some phrases, and here's how you go about planning your writing. So the whole idea here is that students will use these cards interactively to plan their essay. So go and research about the early life and family of John F. Kennedy. Okay, come back and write some notes in here. These notes move their way across into Scribo, and the whole thing becomes like really engaging, really sort of on the rails, nothing off the rails. You get to see how all of this is progressing across the class, and it's an exciting momentum forwards that you can build using Presto to do it for you. Now, of course, not everybody has got this ability to, pull out a phone or a tablet or even a laptop in the classroom. So we kind of get that. So you can export this whole thing to a PDF and, warm up the photocopier and get this as a sort of like an accompanying sort of side piece of paper or side sort of lesson for students to write. So, there's not too many limitations here. It's really about your imagination and how you want to bring engagement into the classroom in a different way. We're just here to support you with some great tools and some great assisted intelligence, which is really working for you, not working against you. Okay, so you're still the one in the room. You're still the person in the frame with the control panel to do whatever you want to do. And it's all about moving across the ground as quickly as you possibly can. Now, for any of these things you might look at, you can go into reporting. So once it's underway in your classroom, you get to see who's in, who's doing what, have they opened it, show the students individually, open the activity, look at what their work, look at the classwork, look at what's going on here, and move like the wind in terms of who's doing what and how effective this course might be in lifting learning. So analytics, auto marking, all of these things are all built into the platform. Okay, we're not here to make more work for you. We're certainly here to reduce the workload. Now, publishers could use this to bring their content forward into a very portable digital library. We work with Marshall Cavendish, and that's exactly what happens with working with them. Teachers can bring their content forwards and make it available across schools. Schools can share with schools. There's no real limitation here. So really, it's about using a great tool that does all the presentation layer for you, all the marking for you, the content creation for you as a default that you can easily change, and building out the modalities that are going to make the biggest difference to your students. That's what Presto is all about. And when you have a trial platform, and you'll see the purple P in the corner, please do dive in and create something in Presto and see just how effective you can be with something that's designed to help you. So I hope that's a great overview for Presto for you. I'll come back around in another video and show you how Presto integrates with Scribo. It's just beautiful the way the two sort of hand off each other, okay? So all of these pieces of the puzzle all do come together, but they need a teacher to drive the connection, okay? We're simply building out these really accessible platforms for you to put together in modalities that really drive home what you're doing in the classroom every day. So thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to talking to you in the next video we record.